Huh? Awesome, right? Look at that thing, man. 24 by 36 print. So what I did was I took a real life picture from us last year at the Milford local car show, and I used Clip to Comic app on my phone, and then it turned it into kind of like a comic art drawing kind of cool thing in color, and it was like 20 bucks. It was so cheap. So I was able to get that. It was like 20, 25 bucks with shipping. I even got a couple sweet shirts made. And these shirts were so cheap too, like 10 bucks. So for any car guys out there, like Vistaprint is who I got the print and the shirt from. And this was just an add-on. As I was checking out, they were like, hey, you want to have a custom shirt for 10 bucks? So I figured that was a pretty sweet deal. So pretty pumped about this stuff. All right, guys, so today I just got in the mail, finally, these, I don't know, I think 2015, 2016 and newer Camaro 6.2 liter Gen 5 factory exhaust manifold. So you can see they're kind of a factory header. The good thing for us is they go almost straight down from this back cylinder, which hopefully is going to work for us. They're also real tight to the head. They don't stick out a whole lot. So versus what we've got now with these Speed Pro headers, the problem is they kind of go real far that way. You know, of course we tried them the right way, but they were just hitting kind of right into this metal. You can see where it's kind of that silver paint. So boom, they were hitting, they were not going down far enough. So I'm hoping these ones kind of fit into this little slot. Don't know how well you can see it, but yeah, we kind of have a pocket right about there. So if they can fit down there, that'd be great. We may have to clearance some of this sheet metal. This kind of sticks out. I'd say we have almost an inch, 3/4 of an inch that we can clearance. But looking at them, it might work. To give you guys a better idea, this is kind of the pocket that I was talking about. So again, there's kind of some sheet metal that sticks out, yeah, about an inch or so. So we can of course trim some of this back if we need to. There's a stud that was sticking out that was holding onto the fuel line, which we relocated, so I can cut that off too. But I'm just gonna go ahead and try to mock this up real quick. Let's see where we're at. All right, guys, so I got this sat in here, and it looks like it's going to work really well. So I got one bolt in this side. I can't quite get this back bolt in to get it up here. It needs to kind of come up a bit. But let me see if I can show you what we're looking at. Basically, what it looks like we're hitting right now is just the kind of heat cover, this kind of heat shield. So I'm almost thinking if I take the heat shield off, there may be a little bracket that comes off there that I can cut off, because we're not planning to really run this heat shield anyway. I'll probably get this off, chop it, but we look like this is definitely gonna work for us. It's putting it in kind of a great spot. Let me see if I can kind of crawl under and get you guys a look. All right, so yeah, crawling under there, man. Wow, that's just about freaking perfect. So anyway, I think once we get this cover off, grind all the tabs down, make it look pretty, it's gonna be fine. And then I think this side's gonna be no problem because we have way more room over here. So super pumped. These headers, these factory, used. Now these ones look beautiful. I mean, they don't even have dirt inside. So I think they were super low mileage. But these were still about $300 shipped to me, used. So not cheap, but they work, and I'm super pumped about it. So anyway, we'll put these Speed Engineering headers up for sale, and then I've also got a set somewhere over here of the Corvette C7 headers also, so we'll be getting those up for sale as well. What's going on, guys? It's Friday. I'm just out here in the garage, just by myself today. Just kind of maybe spend an hour or two just trying to do some wiring. Trying to get this fuse block that we picked up off eBay working, or actually, I'm sorry, off Amazon. So we picked up this 12-wire fuse box with the relay. So I just got to get this thing wired up. If you remember from last time, we were doing some crazy stuff trying to get these circuit breaker things to kind of work, and it got way more complicated than we thought. We thought we'd only need a couple. We ended up needing a bunch. So we want to get rid of this whole mess and do it the right way. Get everything wired up into here, all fused, all good stuff. So that's what I'm working on. So let me take you guys through it. It shouldn't be super complicated. We basically just need a ground. Then this is going to be our switched 12-volt ignition. So this will just come from battery power from the distribution block. It'll go to the power switch. And then from the power switch, once it's pushed in, it'll go right to this real big yellow wire. Then this will give power to everything in the box. And then From this relay, I'm going to use this for the starter control relay. So this gray wire is going to be the output that is just going to go right to the, well, first it's going to go to my clutch switch over here, and then from the other side of the clutch switch, it's going to go to the push button, the momentary starter for the starter. And then from the other side, it goes to the blue wire that I already have ran through the firewall that goes down on the solenoid to trigger the starter. So once those two are done, those are kind of the hardest ones. That'll be all good. There's also another yellow accessory wire, I think it's this guy, that's only on with ignition power. That one I'm going to run specifically for the red wire on the PSI harness, so that way, that basically gives power to all the harness and all that stuff with ignition on. So once those are done, technically the car will crank and start. Now what I'm still waiting on today is I ordered a new laptop to be able to plug in HP tuners, because I was using this really old, like 12-year-old netbook, and I ended up, it still has like Windows 7, so I couldn't even get it to update to get the newest version of HP tuners. So anyway, I'm hoping I can get at least those 3 circuits wired up today. And then later on this afternoon, once this netbook comes in, or sorry, the new laptop comes in, I can plug in HP tuners and kind of see what's going on, because we did have it cranking last week, but it wasn't starting. So I'm hoping that what the issue is that PCM that we got is stock, and so the VATS has not been removed. So if that's the case, I can just plug it in, get HP tuners all registered for the VIN, and remove the VATS, and then I'm hoping that'll get it to go and get it to start. So let's see what happens. So what I'm doing now is actually I kind of got this in, I got the fuse block in, I've got it grounded here, and I've also got the battery power right here. So this is constant battery, that's your ground, and then the one, let's see, this is the, so this is basically going to your ignition switch. This is your battery, basically it's just battery power. So battery power is coming in, and this is all just kind of temporarily wired for now. But battery power comes in, goes to, this is going to be our power switch for the car. So we click this, and then you can hear the relay turn on. So now we've got power going back. So anyway, once that relay switches, that's going to be the control wire that's going to go to the starter. So it's going to go basically from the relay to the clutch switch, from the clutch switch to our starter button here, and then from the starter button over to the starter wire, which is on the actual starter. So that's how that system will work. So this will be a momentary switch, you can do it, and then we'll start divvying out power from all these other circuits, all these other wires. You know, we'll maybe have like one accessory wire that'll come up here. So maybe for that one accessory wire to like power these little gauges and the lights that are on here, we may actually still use these little circuit breakers. You know, maybe just use one of those, and then we can distribute the power to, you know, these 2 things, and then maybe these 2, 3, 4 gauges, because those will all be pretty low power. All our lights are LED, so it shouldn't be too big of an issue. So I don't know how much more I'm going to get done today. Gosh, this seriously took forever just to kind of figure this out in my head. But now that this is going, it should be pretty easy. I've just got to find another wire. I think this other yellow wire is an accessory, so I'm going to probably use that to power the PSI harness, which is this red wire. So I'll at least get that hooked up, and hopefully later today, if I have time, maybe tonight, I can try to get in there into HP tuners and try to get this thing, see if it'll crank and maybe fire. To get a new laptop. My old netbook was super old, guys, but got this new laptop, and boom, it is finally communicating with the computer. So it looks like our computer is actually a 2016, which I hope there's no issues, because from what we were told that our motor is like a 2018, but I'm guessing it's still an E92, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, once this factory file gets uploaded, I'll save it, and then I can go in and take a look at it and see if like the VATS and all that stuff is still in there, and see if I can get that removed. And then I'll have to rewrite it, and hopefully that'll be one step closer to starting this thing. I've also found out I had some codes stored in the computer for the pedal. So if something's up with our pedal, we may end up having to get a new pedal. Oh, looks like it must be done. But I've got to talk to PSI later today, find out. We also found out that we think this issue we're having where the motor turns over really slow is due to that shaft. So I think, like I told you guys yesterday, we're going to pull this motor, just try to slide it, and then cut the end of the input shaft off about maybe 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch. I don't think we need much. Slide it back, and then we'll make sure the motor still turns over freely, and if it does, we know we fixed it. And then from there we can get the new headers bolted on and try to start the thing and see if it runs. So I've been out here working, and I took these are the factory Camaro exhaust manifolds, and they had a bunch of tabs on them because they had aluminum heat shields, so we can't use the heat shields because some of these tabs were actually going to make contact with the frame. So I went ahead, chopped all these things off, and then where the weld was, I grinded all that stuff smooth. These are kind of a factory stainless steel, so I'm not sure if we're going to paint them. I don't know what we're going to do. We might end up just painting them, maybe paint them black or silver, but we may also end up chopping this off and putting a V-band on. I'm not sure. So anyway, I'm not going to paint them just yet, but now I'm going to go ahead and mock them up and let's see if they go on there, no issue. I did have to cut off just one little part kind of down right here. There was like a little bracket that stuck out. I cut that off just to make sure there's extra clearance, and we should be good. There's on here just kind of a couple bolts, just tightening them on. So this side, which we thought would have the most trouble, surprisingly fits. It's very tight. So because the factory manifold has 4 bolts, this one bolt that's very near the frame, it's super close. Looks like it's sort of working. It looks like from underneath the car, if you went to go put a nut on, there's probably not even enough room on that bolt right there to get between the bolt and the frame rail. So not so sure about that. Plus, once the engine rocks, it may hit. This side does actually hit. So you can see I don't actually have it all the way tight because it needs to come, a little bit this way, but we're actually contacting the frame right there. So not sure. We're gonna have to make a decision if we want to try to maybe take a hammer and just kind of dent this area in. It is hollow and it's 2-sided, so there may be some room to do that, but I'm not sure because we kind of need a lot of space there. The other thing I was thinking is we just take kind of right where this flange is, we just cut it on each side, and then we just weld on a V-band clamp. I just have just something like this. So we actually got this that came with our Speed Engineering headers with an O2 bung. So we could literally use this. We just need one more stainless V-band, and we could just chop those, weld that on there, and then be able to connect this. And then when we go to the exhaust shop, or if we do our own exhaust, we can just basically connect right from here, just put a 90 and start running it back. So I'll talk to Lewis and we'll see kind of how we want to go. I just don't really like these bolts anyway. If we did V-bands, it would be a lot easier. Just, one V-band bolt, boom, we can drop the exhaust versus trying to mess around with all those things. So we will have to just cut it, do some welding. Should be pretty simple. So I don't see that being too much of an issue, but man, that sucks. Would have been nice for them just to completely fit. But for the startup, we're hoping this weekend we're going to be able to kind of get it started. So maybe for this weekend we'll just kind of dent that, or we'll just cut that, have it just kind of cut and ready for the V-band, because I don't think I'm going to be able to order V-bands in time. It's already Wednesday, and so we're planning on working on it Saturday. So I doubt anything's going to come that quick, but I'm going to go online and have a look anyway and see. Power on right now, and I've got the VCM scanner hooked up. So pedal position, I've got 0, and even if she pushes the pedal for me, it stays at 0. The throttle position is 29%, whatever, relative's 21%. So I'm not sure, this should even be so high, right? Shouldn't it be closer to 0? But anyway, if I do push on the actual throttle blade physically, it changes, it does change the percentages where they're at. Yeah, you can see so throttle position, relative throttle position, those do move, and then commanded, okay, it stays the same. And then it looks like, on here it's going up to 100, just like you would think it would, right? So that all looks good. It's just the pedal is not actually opening the throttle. I actually just tried plugging in an extra throttle body that I had laying around. So this throttle body does the same thing. We get no pedal, but we do get the same throttle position, relative, and commanded. So, okay, I think these are fine. And then, this looks the same. So I think these are fine. So, but I'm still having the issue of the pedal actually moving. Actually, you know what? Oh, I don't have that connected. So let me see. I'm just trying to move it manually. Okay, so it does the same thing. So yeah, it works that way. We just don't have the pedal. So maybe, like you said, maybe those few different ones are just pinned the wrong way on the PCM. So I don't think I told you yesterday, but I got this vacuum line for the brake booster. This is all installed, sexily ran along here, And then she comes out. Oh, I unplugged it earlier. Anyway, it's down here, whatever. Goes right there, but you can't really see it. Looks awesome. That's done. Took this manifold off just to get it out of the way. I took off all the grounds, the one in the back, these two up front. So it looks like everything else, the motor can slide all the way forward, should be good. I also started taking bolts out, so I took out the bottom two trans to engine bolts. And dude, as soon as those bolts started loosening, the bottom just, cracked away like 1/8 of an inch or something. I mean, that's not normal, right? Any motor we've ever taken apart, I mean, it stays together. So boom, it just popped out. I also took off that upper bolt just because one of the grounds was there, but that didn't move. Then I noticed we didn't even put in. There's like a bolt right there. Well, my camera sucks. See out of the hole? There's a bolt on the other side that goes for the trans. We didn't even put a bolt in there. Good thing we're doing this. We would have forgot a bolt. So we probably only had like 5 bolts instead of 6 or whatever. Put the breaker bar on, and just by removing like those few bolts, and you can see where the trans came apart from the motor, just 1/16 of an inch or something. It's already way, way easier to turn this motor. Like, look at this, dude. Like barely put, I mean, this is kind of getting more normal. So that makes me feel good. So pretty sure we're just barely touching. Hoping all we got to do is just chop the little, 1/4 inch off that sucker. And then we should be good to go, man, because it's already nice and easy to turn now. All right, guys, so over the last couple days, I ended up doing some things that I ended up not filming. So let me kind of take you guys through where we're at tonight, because tomorrow Lewis is going to stop by and we're going to do a whole bunch of stuff on this car, just spend a whole day trying to work on it, trying to see if we can get it to start for the first time. So let me show you where I'm at right now. Spent a little time, got all these tabs off like I told you guys. These are good to go. I also pulled the studs out so that we could get ready to cut. And I actually went to Home Depot, picked up a 2.5 inch hole saw, only to realize that this is made for a 2.5 inch hole. But what we really need is for this outer diameter to actually be 2.5 inches. And what this is going to make it is it's going to make this outside diameter 2.5, but the inside is going to be less. So basically, this is not going to work. So that's fine. So I think what we'll do is we'll just wait once we get the actual V-band that we ordered. We'll just stick it on here. We'll just butt weld it to this, and then we'll just chop this flange down. Just kind of make a few chops, try to make it look a little nice. So too bad. That would have been sweet. Maybe if I go get a 2 5/8, that might work. That'd give us enough meat, but I still don't think that the V-band is going to slide over. That was my original intention, was to leave a flange that was exactly 2.5, and then the V-band can slide down, and then we could weld it on the inside, weld it on the outside. It'd be a little stronger that way, but whatever, no big deal. The other major things, I was able to get HP tuners, a new calibration put into the car. So luckily our PCM was completely stock, and it had the VATS still enabled, so I was able to disable that. Went through and did a whole bunch of other stuff, turned off the like the DOD. I also turned off a bunch of check engine lights that don't pertain to us anymore, like the rear cats and all that kind of stuff, rear O2 sensors for the cats, all that kind of stuff. So that should be all good. So I also kind of did a little bit of preemptive work just so that way when Lewis comes tomorrow with the engine hoist, we can kind of get started quickly to pull this motor out. So the plan, like I was telling you, is just to slide this thing forward. We've got about 8 inches here, so we're hoping we can just literally slide it, not even have to take off the harness. And then we'll be able to get in here and just be able to cut, a little bit off the edge of that input shaft, maybe 1/4 inch or so. So I think the total input shaft, the part that goes through the pilot bearing, is about 1.25 inches. So if we cut a 1/4 inch off the end, should be no problem. That's going to be the easiest way. Now I did also buy a 1/4 inch bell housing to engine spacer, aluminum spacer. Now we could do that. We'll see. That could be something we do. But to use that thing, we'd have to completely pull the motor, so it'd be a lot more work. And then we would also have to change the slave cylinder, spacer. So we already had a different spacer that we got from FabBot, and we would have to actually change it back. So we don't want to go that route. It's way more time. We're hoping to slide it forward, get our cutoff tool in there, cut it, put it back, we're done. And then from there, maybe we'll modify the header a little bit just so we can put these on. And then we're going to start trying to fire the car. So we know we still have a pedal issue, but we should still be able to get a first start even with the pedal issue. That's what we're hoping. And then the other thing I did was I actually went and painted the radiator brackets. So we got those finally painted. We could probably put those on either tomorrow or Sunday, but nothing fancy. We just sprayed them to match the front end. So they all look, yeah, they look all right. They look pretty good though. So anyway, those are about all the updates. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Make sure you click the subscribe button, and we'll see you guys later.